Good morning. Huntington's disease, Todd here. I was thinking today as I was walking, what is it that inspires you? What is it that inspires us? What is it that makes us get up and go every day? Uh, you know, when I was younger, I was a kid. My grandfather had Huntington's disease, and then for a long time, I never saw it again. I didn't see it until later on when my mother got it. So there was a long period of time in life where I didn't even know about Huntington's disease. So, fast forward some time, I'm in my 50s. My mom is on the early part of Huntington's disease. I'm overweight. I am, I'm right now I weigh about 210, but I was 250 at that time, 250 pounds, and I was feeling very miserable. So, what was it that inspired me? What is it that keeps us in the game? Huntington's disease or not, as a caregiver or whatever, we all have to be inspired to keep moving and going through all things in life. So when I was about 50 years old and I was so overweight, I could not do one push-up. That's no lie. I could not do one push-up. I was sitting in an open house type place and I decided that it was done. I wasn't going to live like that anymore. So I changed my habit. I started exercising. So what inspired me then was I had a grandson. My grandson was born right at that same time. And I decided that I couldn't live a life like that with my grandson. So, after 6 months, I started getting a little better. A year, I was quite a lot better. But, I got to the point where I was down to 175 pounds. And that was a little bit too far down. I could ride a bike 50 miles. I could run. I could do, the 5Ks. I would go swimming. Sometimes I would ride my bike, 60, 70 miles on a Saturday morning. That was all inspired by something, and it was my grandson. So through that time period, I had something to shoot for, something to aim for. I wanted to be healthy for him. So then that was back in my early 50s. And then, as I said, I got my Huntington's diagnosis, I guess basically when I was 52. So, knowing that I had Huntington's disease, it threw me for a loop, but it still made me want to be all I could be for my grandson, because I wanted to utilize the time that I had to have as good a time as I could with him. And we have had some good times. There's no doubt about that. We've done a lot of stuff, and I've done a lot for him, with him, around him. He's 12 years old now, almost 13. So, he's starting to be less of a focus in my life. So then, then now I fell off of my, desire to do things, and he's kind of growing up a little more. So I wasn't as inspired. So, I needed a new inspiration. So then I told you my mother passed away a little while back. My brother passed away when he was 68. And I'm 62. So I started really thinking, what is it on earth that's going to make me be inspired now? Well, that inspired me. That woke me up. And I was doing relatively bad again as far as health-wise. I was sitting in my recliner all the time. I wasn't doing anything. I had gotten out of shape. I'd gotten up to about 225, 230, right in that range. And I just was, getting miserable again. So, what is it that inspired me? My brother passing away from Huntington's disease. And then, I decided that I wasn't going to go out without a fight. So sometimes in life, we got to make a decision. There were days though, and with this Huntington's disease, where I really just didn't know or have any direction during some of those days. My wife was at work, my grandson was gone, and he was in school, and it just wasn't the same life that I had, had inspiration for. So just today, as I was walking, I was thinking, what is it that could inspire anybody? You need to have inspiration in your life to move on and do things and do stuff. So my new inspiration, and this is going to sound silly or simple, obviously I have the inspiration of living with my wife as long as I can. But every day now, I take these little things, they're my little earbuds. I'll plug them in my ears, and I put those in when I'm in my house before I walk out the door. Now, I told you I walk in the mornings. I put those in my ears and I start playing the music that I want to listen to. I listen to some different eclectic things, but I listen to music that makes me feel like getting out of the house and walking. Maybe you need something like that. You need to key your brain to something that says, hey, I'm going to go out today. I'm going to make a little bit of a difference in my health and in my life. So these are my two things that are my inspiration right now. I put these earplugs in. They hold onto my ears so they don't fall out. I can walk. I put my phone in my pocket. I count my steps. I'm getting high up there in steps these days. You know, I'll do the walk. I'll listen to music, and that's my inspiration currently. What inspires you, and what will get you going? I think I turned one of my speakers on. Let me turn that back off. Get something that motivates you and try to get going. It's hard. I know it's hard. Huntington's disease is not easy. You know, caregivers, you might need something to inspire you as well. So all I'm saying today is let's get out and get going. Let's try to kick in a few more miles. Let's try to get, a little bit more out of this. So just as a report, about 6 months ago, when I was feeling really miserable and I was just lethargic and laying around, I started walking. I couldn't walk that, far. I couldn't walk that fast, and I really hated it. To this day, I don't love it. But when I first started, I might have walked twice a week. I might have walked every other day. And now I do walk, 5 times a week. Sometimes I skip a day or two. Sometimes I do other physical exercise. I've talked about that too. I'm going to post a short video today about some other, around the yard exercise or things that you can do. Huntington's disease is a difficult thing, but some of the simpler things that we can do can help our mind, and some of the simpler things that we can do can keep our body in shape. Don't ever shortchange, walking out to the mailbox or doing the things that you have to do. Find your inspiration and start living the life that you can. Some people can't do this. I totally understand. I'm sorry for those that have Huntington's worse than I do. It's a terrible disease and it affects everyone different. But for today, get your inspiration, get in a little bit of time outside, do a few things, and maybe that will help you with coping with Huntington's disease. Huntington's disease Todd. Go to the page, like, and subscribe, and then share it again with some folks that might need to hear this. Thanks.